Are you guys? Yeah. I'm still streaming. I swear, it saves me so much time to freaking hit the record button off every hour and to hit it back than it does to take one 8-hour chunk and try to get freaking Adobe Premiere to edit that shit. Adobe Premiere fucking renders everything as a chunk. So if you have like an 8-hour video and you just want like the first hour of it for an hour thing on YouTube, you have to wait for Adobe Premiere's fucking brain to process the entire 8-hour thing. If I auto balance my mic audio, I have to auto balance an entire 8-hour strip. If I want to like lower down the music volume a little bit, I have to wait for the stupid thing to lower down an entire 8-hour thing. Whereas if I just have it already in 1-hour segments, I can hit off the record, on the record, and we're good to go. And because it's a different file, it just does everything correctly. Catch up next time. Get it? Get it? I saw the mental image of Ernest McDwarf going to the food stock and filling his mug with ketchup and presently drinks it. He's just crying. Why? Why, Papa? Why do you make me drink this? You're gonna love it. Okay, now, do we make the things? Let us go to equip. Specific armor. Adamantine breastplate. Take off that armor. Armor, specific armor. Adamantine mail shirt. Headgear. He's probably the one wearing these, but I want to make sure. Legwear? I don't think I made legwear. We have to work on that. How do I put legwear back in? Greaves. I'll just say greaves. Handwear. Did I make gloves? I don't have any gloves. Okay, good. Boots. Adamantine high boot. Boot. Adamantine high boot. Metal footwear. Shield. Adamantine shield. So what I'm missing is greaves and gloves. Armor, adamantine, greaves. Is there no adamantine gloves? Gauntlet, duh. There you go. And then we'll have a full adamantine set for Stephen Robert 4, including an artifact adamantine pick. And if that doesn't make him just the strongest fucking fighter we have, I don't know what does. Get him to wear 1 legendary leather boot. This is true. Would that be better though? Like, it always confuses me on the armor. I know as an artifact, it has a ×3 to its deflection modifier, but as adamantine, it couldn't be pierced, right? So wouldn't the adamantine non-legendary trump legendary leather? Because adamantine couldn't burn anyways. I don't think. Dwarf Fortress artifact armor. I'd def go with adamantine over 1 boot. Probably not. So quick question. Yeah. Because the problem is, here's the issue, is whether or not it gets hit or not. An artifact weapon has a ×3 modifier to hit, and an artifact armor of anything has like a ×3 modifier to not being hit. So if we did the leather boot, then yes, it would probably get hit less than the adamantine boot or whatever. However, at some point it is going to get hit, and it's material on material. Since it's leather, anything metal will pierce it. I'll read that one in a second. Whereas the adamantine will get hit more and could result in more injuries towards like the foot turning because of the force of the blow, but anything trying to pierce it and shit like that would be less effective. Basically, leather would probably be better versus bludgeoning, because if it hits no matter what. Anyways.
The Forgotten Beast Bazaar has come. A gigantic humanoid composed of green glass. It has wings and undulates rhythmically. Beware its poisonous gas.
All right, so hold on. For some reason, the middle fan on the top of my case is sort of making a noise. Like if you stop it for a second, let it resume it, the noise goes away. I don't know what's causing that noise. But anyways, so let me get this straight, what we have for our 3 monsters so far. Follow me here. 1, we have Eru, the gigantic penis. 2, we have Ugash, the ball of flame, the ball of never-ending flame. And now we have Bazaar, which is a glass person? Is this basically like a 2D waifu? Are like we getting attacked by a 2D waifu? Because glass, right? Like a pane of glass? Composed of green glass. It has wings and undulates rhythmically. It's a 2D waifu, right? Like, what are we supposed to do against this? What map is this in? Not one that we have much access to because it's already gone. So our 3 monsters are fire, penis, and waifu. Throw a rock at it. I mean, you're probably not wrong. I feel like it would just die immediately if it's made out of glass. But one must not hurt the... Oh my god, the water got purged again. What the fuck? This person has drained all the water. How and or why? You horrid, horrid fireball. All right, what was I doing before he interrupted me? Or she, whatever the fuck the waifu thing was. Trying to go around the back end of this adamantine. All right, adamantine. We are still smelting things down below. Did we make the armor? We are making the armor now. But Stephen Robert is almost set up as being a decent military thing. Now, someone told me that replacing was better, right? I think someone said that instead of over. But then if I do replace, I have to keep them active as military 24/7, don't I? And we've lost our music because of the Forgotten Beast. So we have to wait for the next season, unfortunately. Which kind of blows. Meanwhile, since we've been making this, we've not been making much in terms of iron, have we? We've just been trying to make as many adamantine wafers as we can. We've made a good deal of wafers, though. If we check adamant, we have like 80. We have 21 wafers and 85 raw adamantine. We still have over 100. We could probably make a few sets of this shit. Hans, get the pickaxe. There's an option to wear armor when not on duty. Ah. All right, so I fucked this up a bit, I guess. Military. These people. Is it under uniforms? No. Military. Schedule. There we go. Inactive equals uniformed. All right. And then where is replace instead of on top of? Is it under equip? Over clothing. If I hit R, it is replace. So Stephen Robert is told he must wear this armor 24/7. Get rid of anything else he has. We don't care for it. I want greaves. What are greaves? Legs. So now he will be wearing adamantine 24/7. Ah, it wasn't. You gotta make sure they get the greaves and stuff. Yes, that's why I only switched one of them. I only did Stephen Robert to replace clothing. Everyone else still has over. Once I get them with the full set, I will switch it to replace, and we should be good then. And then he can learn the ways of the Force. Sportry. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna save right now. Just because. What I like about it the most is that even the leather armor gets worn out much slower than regular clothing. That is pretty decent. I'm just hoping that if he has his clothing, it'll keep his morale and shit up. He's not gonna be like, oh my god, my clothing rotted off of me. And he just loses his mind. Did we have an idea for redemption earlier, or do we have a joke one? I didn't write anything down. Remember, you have one invincible artifact, high boot. Yeah, but I want to get all the adamantine first. Make sure he has all the gear. Yes, I'm working on it. I need to wait for this guy to craft. He'll get the gauntlet, and then he should be good, as far as I'm aware. Or he won't wear anything. Wait, what? If he doesn't have the full set, he'll just be naked? That doesn't make sense. Why will he do that? What is this guy carrying? He's got the greaves that the other guy is supposed to be wearing, I guess. Do they have backpacks and containers to bring ketchup with them in the battle? Judge, well, no, that's the problem. We're not growing ketchup. We should have known. Damn us. If I do cloth down here, can I do this as a cloth pile or adamantine? Thread metal. And then where are we storing that thread normally? Is it in... Where are we storing that thread? I think just here. Like as it gets made. So now someone's job will be to bring the adamantine down below. So that we don't have to waste all the time for this dude to keep going up there to grab it. So my Korean friend says that their dad puts ketchup on egg rolls. So you are partly justified. Good. I don't know if you're trolling me, but fuck it. Good. Good. Fantastic, because ketchup is amazing. People who don't know the glory of... Okay, as a side thing, if anyone is going to be particularly put off by my food choices, I would defend myself against one nation, that is America. Not defending America, defend myself against anyone in America hating my choices, because we have the KFC freaking food bowl. And that should just tell you that nobody in America has any self-respect when it comes to food. All right? Whatever the hell the KFC one bucket is. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to try to Google this to figure out what it's called. KFC, I think it's just in America, but KFC has this option where instead of getting like, oh, you can get your chicken and your mashed potatoes and your gravy, they literally just cram it all as layers in one bowl, and you're just supposed to eat it out of the bowl. KFC one bowl. Whatever this thing is called. And they just cram it all together. Or is it not? Is it KFC? KFC looks kind of right, but that's not like the big one. What's the big one? They call it the famous bowl, where they put in chicken nuggets, mashed potatoes, corn, creamy mashed potatoes, sweet corn, and bite-sized chunks of crispy chicken are layered together and drizzled with home-style gravy and topped with a perfect blend of 3 shredded cheeses. And that's not even the worst one. That's not even the worst one. So I just want to point out, if any of you are in America and you're like, man, you are fucking nasty, you eat the KFC one bowl, so don't you try to pretend like you don't mix together food and weird shit. DaceBass76 has created Obatoth, a rock salt bed, which is actually pretty kick-ass.
Obatoth, cracked knocked, a rock salt bed, worth 60,000 dwarf bucks. This is a rock salt bed. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is studded with platinum, decorated with rope reed, and encircled with bands of round rock salt cavacons and oval gray chalcedony cavacons. The object menaces with spikes of cave spider silk, gray chalcedony, and dog bone.
It menaces with spikes of dog bone and it's called cracked knot. I'm just saying. The rich one. Which one? Which one are you talking about? Rich one? Okay. Got my eyes on you. All right, so let's start channeling this down. So that was what? 2? 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Am I clicking this wrong? 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. And that's 2, 2. So this would be 1 and then a 2. Exact spacing. All right, yeah, that's how that works. So that just all needs to be trimmed off, and I can start bringing the whole fucking triangle down. The goofy thing is that one actually looks presentable. I know they used to have a worse one. They used to have one that was like just a gigantic chicken bowl, and they just crammed everything together in it. Like the fattest, slobbiest damn fucking thing you've ever seen. People ate it. I think they still basically eat it. $5 fill-up. Copycat famous bowls. It's so nasty. Mr. Bazooka.
Hello.
Okay, so that one works. That text-to-speech does work, and I don't need to fix that one. That's good to know. Hello, Mr. Bazooka. Are you here to enjoy the dwarves? The ketchup? I couldn't even finish the thought. Are you here to enjoy the dwarves, the Corona, the ketchup, or the, I don't even know what the other topic was anymore. What were we talking about earlier, guys? Thank you so much. Please, no more ketchup. We need more ketchup. Mind you, those 3 packs, those three packs of 3 ketchups are the ones I just got from the store as like supplementary. I still have like the regular ketchup that I already had in the fridge. That's just to keep me going for a few weeks. Ketchup? The fuck did I? We were discussing earlier how ketchup works with everything. Base supplementary ketchup. Basically, everything goes well with ketchup, and I have a couple of 100 liters or whatever the little bottles are measured in worth of ketchup. Honey-chan, no.
Honey-chan, no.
Apparently, everyone thinks I'm a heretic because ketchup goes on everything. You know, that simple fact of life that we can all agree on. Ketchup just goes with everything. Apparently people think you're a heretic because you're a fucking heretic. I'm not a heretic. You just haven't faced the truth. I'm not a heretic. I am just willing to accept the truth of the world into my very being. All right, we trimmed out the left pyramid. It's not fully rot down yet, but I'm going to use this opportunity to bring this layer of the dirt down so that we can start having, you know, spacing, an idea what the hell's going on. Maybe have a good old happy freaking shape going with our Triforce. That way we don't have this weird fucking square cut going on. And then once this is done, I don't want to bring over the moat yet. That will need to get done, don't get me wrong. I don't see a reason to right now. I'd rather just get the negative triangle, the inverse triangle on the inside of the Triforce. I'd rather get that channeled down so you don't have to worry about any more overhangs and we can just start easily getting through stone and shit. Because the rest of this can be built up like in its own time. You know what I'm saying? It can just be done in its own time. Whereas we can't really progress too fast while we still have shit to mine out of the way. So we might as well, you know, get this mined out of the way. I have to stop holding shift because it's making me jump too far. So this is 2. Then it'll be 1. Then it'll be 2. Yep. That's how I'm doing this. Alright, and left triangle will have to get fixed a bit. It'll be brought down to be the proper size, but the shaping is already there. We'll get that triangle trimmed out, and we will be good. Now, a thing though, we have some bad news. We have bad news for those viewers of you who are of the weebier kind. Basically, about once a season, as we start to approach the end of the season, at the end of the stream, we load up the next season's descriptions, see if there's any good ones, and mainly just laugh. Just fucking laugh at all the stupid shows. Because even if the show is good, a lot of the times the description's stupid. A lot of times it's got a really dumb description. But the problem is, particularly because of the coronavirus, we are approaching the summer season and there are only 49 shows reporting. That's it, 49. Normally for a summer season, they have like 110, 120 reporting. And we had some more reporting and some of those shows got postponed to fall. So either we, at the end of this stream or some stream in the middle of the week, we do what we would normally do by the end of the season. But the problem is no matter when we do it or if we do it, it's going to be a small list. It's only 49 shows. So that's kind of a bit of a bummer. Our seasonal laugh at the stupid descriptions is, whenever we do it, is going to be rather light. There's just not that many shows reporting for summer, which kind of sucks. So question, Mr. Bazooka, are you in America? Do you live in America and do you live down south? I'm being serious. This is part of a statement that I had made earlier involving steak and ketchup. If I may be so bold, what state do you live in? It doesn't matter the city or whatever, but what state do you live in? Because I'm an American. I live in Washington. I should have attributed. I shouldn't have said south. I should have actually attributed anywhere where they had ranching. Normally I default to south, but I did make a special rule for that, and I pointed this out to everyone else because everyone was saying things. One of my rules was, because of hamburgers, beef gets ketchup, but I had put out a counter rule, and you guys were here. You can back this up. I had put out a counter rule that this cannot apply to steak, because while steak is a beef product and thus can chemically receive the ketchup, if you do that in any state, which I just defaulted to South, if you do that in any state where they do cows and ranching, you will get shot if you put ketchup on a steak. I said this. I straight said this. So I will not put ketchup on a steak because for some reason, steak specifically, It infuriates people to such a degree that they will hunt you down and kill you if you dare ruin a steak with ketchup. Rightfully so. I would, though, I do have a counter for that rule. There is a counter for the counter rule. There is one place where ketchup goes on steak. And hear me out, Mr. Bazooka, before you get angry. California, because they have these fucking goofy laws and chunks of the state where for your safety, they can't go less than medium well. They basically turned it into leather at that point. Steak should only be eaten medium rare or rarer. But there are places in California where they for health reasons, they're like, it has to be medium well or more cooked. That shit deserves ketchup. That shit needs something to save it. That is no longer steak. If we want to wax philosophical on this, when it's cooked that much, it's probably no longer steak so much as it is hide. But in that point, I will, in fact, reserve the right to order something called steak from a menu and put ketchup on it. Granted, I don't never want to be in California, but still. I live in California. This is not accurate. Remind me never to go to California. I heard that strip clubs in Washington require good lighting. If the steak is on a bun. Well, a steak wouldn't be on a bun. It's not a steak if it's on a bun. If it's on a bun, it probably meant that it was processed meat. If it's like processed meat, it's basically just a hamburger. They can say, oh, it's whatever, like steak, whatever. But no, it's basically a hamburger at that point. I'm not saying it's a state law. I think it's most like some of the goofy cities. California's big, you guys have to remember. California's big. I think it's mostly probably like around LA or some nonsense. But no, there's some fucking areas where I've heard reports that it has to be medium well. And no, if I ever have to do that, I am putting ketchup on it. If I am ever forced to eat steak medium well, it's getting ketchup. At that point, I feel like whoever cooked it was not chef worthy to be cooking steak. Yeah, the restaurants who do not serve anything below medium well walk out and never go back. So yes, in that case, while I think we can all agree that does not count as steak, I would have to make the point and reserve the right to put ketchup on something that the restaurant has called steak. But no, medium rare or rare is how you eat steak. The bloodier, the better. If you trust the location you're getting the steak from, you basically get, what is it called? Like blue rare? It's just seared on the outside. Like literally, you show the steak the fire. You don't actually like let it touch. That is how you should eat it. If it is a place where they are cooking it, they have ruined the steak. If you're going to be cooking the meat, then the meat better have been something that required cooking, such as processed hamburger. Like that needs to be cooked because you don't like it's just gibbered up meat. Steak, no. They clearly are not confident in how they source their beef. Yeah. Slaps a 100% Angus sticker on this chat. I got a sous vide machine. I can get the steak at 135 for sterilization. But yeah, no, we had a bit of an argument. We had a bit of a discussion about that with some of the people in the military. It was part of our. It was part of a group of soldiers I knew's. It was a part of. I'm stumbling over my own words. A group of soldiers I knew were having a conversation, essentially learning geography. And part of this conversation, we discussed food and cooking and things like that. But the part that entertained me a bit, in terms of geography, not to go on a side thing, but while I'm thinking about it, is the entirety of New York State. The entirety of New York State is Manhattan. Between three people, this is like what we'd come down to. The entirety of New York State is clearly Manhattan. The way they came up with this, by the way, I'm not saying that I agree with this, just this is how the argument went. There was one soldier, mine please, thank you very much. There was one soldier who was asking another soldier where he was from. The other soldier replied, I am from New York. He goes, oh, you know, where in New York are you from? Are you, he lists like a street. He's like, are you above this street? Above like 42nd or so? I'm making up a number clearly. I don't actually know. He's like, are you above this? Or like where are you? Like where do you live? And the first soldier's reply is, no, he says some town. He's like, he's out in Northwest New York. He's like, no, I'm out over here. And the other guy's like, well, I've never heard of that. Where is that? He goes, it's in New York. He goes, no, it's not New York. Like this other, like the second soldier was basically like firmly under the idea that the entirety of New York, if you say you are from New York, clearly it has to be from the city. There's no such thing. Like it took forever to get through to the soldier that there was an idea of living in New York State, but not living in New York City. Like it was just not getting through to this guy. But then another soldier got involved, and I think he was from like Louisiana. And I don't know why he was involved in this. But after a little bit of him conversing, he couldn't understand the idea of how big or how many varied areas there was in New York City. Literally the only thing he knew of New York City was Manhattan. So he, like anything that they were saying to him, if it wasn't in Manhattan, he couldn't wrap his mind around the fact that such a thing existed. Like, no. It has to be in Manhattan. Manhattan is New York. So between these two morons, if you're in New York State, clearly that means you live in New York City. And if you live in New York City, clearly that means you live in Manhattan. So if you mix these two idiots together, you live in New York State, you live in Manhattan. Nope, Manhattan. Like I said, admittedly, this wasn't one guy, and I'm slightly reading into it. I'm mixing two idiots' ideas of what New York was together, but they were talking to each other. And I just thought that was funny between the two of them. This dude couldn't understand that there was essentially, as you said, in upstate New York. Could not understand that there was New York that wasn't city. And this other person, like I said, I don't even think the other person was from New York. I think he's from some southern state. Could not understand that there's New York that's not Manhattan. So, if you live in New York, clearly you must live in Manhattan. Which, for those of you who are not American, New York State area and area. For those of you who are not American or not that well versed in state sizes, square miles, what have you, New York State is 54,556 square miles. I'll say that again. New York State is 54,556 square miles. Between these two idiots, they had reduced the entirety of, if you live in New York State, you must live in Manhattan, which is 22.8 square miles. So there is 54,530 square miles unaccounted for between these two soldiers. It is impossible to live anywhere in that 54,000 square miles. Everyone in New York State lives in Manhattan. That's just how it works. It's Manhattan is a place in Equestria. It's small. I do have a dwarven baby who is a legendary brewer. What? Dwarven baby who is a legendary brewer. Did he just come in, or do you have cheating on? Well, I say that like a jackass, but this mode, Lazy Newb Pack, not Lazy Newb Pack. If you were doing Dwarf Therapist has the ability, if you toggle it on, to read and assign skills to any dwarf regardless of age. So you could assign a baby dwarf to be a brewer. Or there's just a glitch and you have a baby dwarf who's a brewer. He's a bard. Oh, I thought he's a baby. I don't use cheats. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't mean to be implying anything. For all I know, you live in Manhattan. because that's where it works. Like you said, you're in Washington. I'm trying to think of a suitably small area in Washington to reduce someone's livelihood down to. But no, the same group of people were the ones that were ended up talking about like cooking and shit like that. I wasn't even there for the full conversation. I just remember some of the highlights. Unless you count selling prepared meals as cheating, which some people do. Some people count prepared meals as cheating. That's like one of my #1 freaking exports whenever I start doing that shit. I kind of feel bad. Apparently I'm a damn dirty motherfucker. All right. So for anyone who's wondering, by the way, I didn't really address it. It is slightly annoying. At this upper triangle, in order to get to the digging area, the only way out now, because you can go up, of course, but the only way down into the tunnels via ground is to go down this stairwell, go from there over to here, and then take that down, because up above, we had reduced the size, but down below, we have not yet reduced the size. And of course, the floor hatch can't be destroyed from below if they can't pathfind to it, so that is how I'm fixing it, so people can get down here. They can get used down here. There is a stairwell to come up, so they can use that to mine it back down. So that's how I'm doing the mining right now, so that we can remove this goofy fucking overhang. Some people say that meals sell for too much. Well, I mean, they're not completely wrong, but also conversely, the only reason why there's an issue with the fact that meals sell for too much is that you don't really buy them. You don't really buy those same prepared meals. If you had to buy them, they'd probably be of a similar cost, assuming the dwarf that made them had the same skills. At least as far as I'm aware, I don't think they sell for much more than they'd probably buy for. Meals should go bad. I kind of get it. I mean, there's nothing inside the meals that's used as a preservative. I mean, I look at the meals all the time and I don't see ketchup anywhere. And everyone knows if your meal isn't covered in ketchup, it just goes bad. No, I couldn't resist. No, you kind of have a point. It is ridiculous, like, how long the meals can go. But the problem is, in order to make meals go bad, you'd have to change the whole stockpile system. So really, it isn't that meals should go bad, it's that food should go bad. If I had to, because even without cooking, just because of the way it does food in the stockpile, it doesn't go bad fast enough. So you end up with a really large, unnecessary stockpile of food. I'm not sure how you would change the engine either to fix that, short of just lowering the amount of time before something rotted. I don't know how you'd get it to where you have like a cooling system or you have like variable rot counts or something like that. Just because the game goes essentially on an item by item basis. As far as I'm aware, as long as it's in the stockpile, it literally cannot go bad. You just make fish and alcohol stews, you can make thousands. I've had meals go bad before. Rotten plum hummus. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but was that in a stockpile or was that in the kitchen? If it's in the kitchen, I expect them to go bad. But I think in a stockpile, that's like, things don't rot. Do they? I don't think they rot in a stockpile. Now you have me wondering. Food stockpile.
Ugh, don't tell the elves, but all the fish are gone.
Yeah, the fish have been gone the entire game, dude. Item stockpiles may be stored in containers, seeds, flowers, empty bags, however, cannot be stacked. Leather, where's food? As one assumed, based on name, food stored in an additional wide variety of inedible plants and animal products stored here. Seeds, lie, giant death, scorpion, venom, bags of dying liquid fire. Name a few. Raw fish brought here before being processed for fishing, turned into edible meat. Drinks are always stored in barrels. Larger seeds, bags, and stored. Other food items can be stored in barrel spots. Note that prepared meals and stacks. Note that prepared meals and stacks larger than 30 is possible. Will not fit in a barrel and only take up one space. To free up barrels may decide to have blah, blah, blah. Food will never spoil while in a stockpile, although it may attract and be eaten by vermin. So, yeah, as long as it's in the stockpile, food of any type does not rot. However, you could slowly lose food if you don't have cats to eat the vermin. That's what the cats do. So if you wanted to be a bit fair, I guess you would say you need more cats to fight off more vermin, or have the vermin be more effective. But as it stands right now, regardless of what it is, food does not spoil while in a stockpile. Oh, 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 oh. You just make fish? You could be right. I've never done science on this before. Nice. Yeah. No. As far as I was always aware, that was the purpose of stockpiles. If something's not in a stockpile, it's a lot more vulnerable to the elements. Conversely, though, the refuse and or the corpse pile, maybe both, maybe one of the two, I can't remember right now, does the exact opposite. If you have a corpse on the ground and or refuse just on the ground, it'll hang around for a while. But if you put it in a refuse pile, it'll rot faster, as far as I'm aware. Is it a corpse pile that rots things? I have to go back up to see. Could be wrong on that. I'm not seeing it here, but I'm under the impression that things rot faster on a corpse pile and or a refuse one. One of those two things rots things faster, is from what I remember. But I didn't read that there, and I am not at this time ready to do a massive science experiment to prove what I may have only heard in passing and thus have no real information to back it up. But for now, I'm still going to operate under the assumption that a corpse / refuse pile will make things rot faster. Since refuse pile is actually used for crafting and I don't recall it rotting, I'm going to have to say that what I am thinking of is a corpse pile. Make things rot faster. Now, this I have to stop before I die. Right around here. Yep. Shit. All of these are part of the overhang. Which means if I just mine them, we have a gigantic cave-in. But also, if I just mine them, we only have one cave-in. If I do it carefully, I can get rid of all of this in one go with one cave-in. That would be a gigantic cave-in, though, that might kill people. But we are dwarves, and dwarves do what dwarves do best. They must cause cave-ins. It is their very nature. Now, where down here do I need to go? I'm going to say this. The weird, like, rounded tips, I'll worry about later. All right, we will get rid of all of that, except for this one. That way they'll all be able to be removed safely, and then whoever removes that last one probably dies. Hopefully it's not Stephen Robert, which reminds me, he needs his gear. Metal handwear, gloves, specific gloves, adamantine, specific glove, adamantine. Stephen Robert has been equipped in a fully adamantine armor set to include an adamantine shield, high boots, gauntlets, greaves, helm, mail shirt, breastplate, and an artifact adamantine pick. If there's an enemy who wants to mess with him, they will surely die. Now, what we're doing is very dangerous and is likely to cause at least one dwarf to die, but I think I'm willing to risk one dwarf's death to save us a couple of, I don't know, hours of meticulously mining the edge in such a way so as not to cause any cave-ins and being very careful and trying to be, oh no, do this, do that, and still risking a cave-in anyways when I forget to pay attention to something. We might as well just do the one cave-in, because we're going to do one accidentally anyways. We might as well just do the one on purpose, save ourselves all a bunch of time. Maybe kill a few cats. Like I said, as long as it's not Steven in the way, I think we'll be good. It didn't cave in. Oh, it's attached to the wall. I'm an utter moron. Well, shit. This kind of works in our favor-ish. We will build a floor. The floor will support it. We'll mine out the top. And now it'll be any random dwarf, not even a miner, who causes the cave-in when he removes the floor. I could do this with a support and do it remotely using a lever, which would be a little bit extra dwarfy, but that's just kind of too much effort for me. That sounds like way too much effort when I can just have some poor sap remove a piece of floor and do the work for me. Particularly because it seems to be Stephen Robert that keeps coming back to do the mining. Go away before you die. From what I understand, you are not connected to anything anymore. The area below that is not hollow, so the cave-in will not cause successive floors to also cave in. So we should be good. Now who comes and does this? Watch, it's gonna be Stephen Robert just to fuck with me. Is it you? Who are you? Are you a named dwarf? It's not even a named dwarf. Is this the... No, I thought for a second that was gonna be the necromancer. It is not the necromancer. I don't know who that dwarf is, but he needs to get out of here before he dies. Matter of fact, I'm gonna lock this door. Just for a second. Yeah, so we already had 1 or 2 dwarves stop because he was confused. I don't know where I'm going. All right. So while there is a massive cave-in, and that is important, that is not who we are following. This is the guy who's in the most danger. We're hoping he goes back, not get sucked to the right. Unfortunately, usually these cave-ins have a vacuuming effect, and they tend to suck you in. Pushed him down and pushed him up. We're good with that as long as he doesn't go right. He has gone right. Now he is down here. But that was after a lot of the shit already hit, so maybe he's good. I don't know why. It always sucks people in. It's really weird. What do you show for wounds? Because I don't have a hospital. He's just unconscious. No wounds. That was the easiest cave-in we've had. That saved us a bit of time. So what we can do now is we can go down here, and we will have to be careful again no matter what. There's no way to completely avoid this. But now we have a whole hell of a lot less to be worrying about while we do that. Yes, we have taken this and covered it with the dirt from above, so it can grow grass and the like. But that layer itself will be mined itself, so we're not that worried about it. It's not going to cause anything. We're just going to get rid of it. Just dig all the walls out. And then cause a multi-layer cave-in. No. Mostly because the stones below this are still stones I probably want to end up using. We do have a necessity to be building up the Triforce triangles. So I'm needing the stone for blocks. Right now I'm just trying to lower the inverse triangle down. One, because it's a lot easier to work around the gap. Because kind of the whole purpose is, like, we're doing the Triforce, don't get me wrong. But kind of the whole purpose of this is the gigantic Triforce hole into the ground. If the 3 Triforce pieces are used as a sort of prison versus the evils below and inside, we kind of need the hole to be working. Through the cavern layers, through everything else. Which means I need this to be going down. Which reminds me, I have been neglecting the adamantine. I'm such a bad person. So we freed up those 3. We revealed nothing. We peeked in on this earlier. No, we didn't. So that one might still be a death trap. We peeked in on this earlier. And not only did we peek in on this, but we revealed that this is fiddly, which means this is safe. Because there's granite in the middle there. And if that granite sticks in one more, then this is completely mineable, and so is this. So that one granite might actually save us. As a matter of fact, I'm going to undo that. I wish I could like have different, like, I mean, I can't. I say I wish I could do things like telling dwarves to be in different areas. I can. It's just a little too microwave and I don't want to do it. Let's just address that correctly. I can do that. By the way, this man is still making sure we have no water. I'm so glad I'm not like sourcing my base's water supply down here for anything. By the way, how are drinks? Tons of plants. We're doing so good. Tons of plants, tons of drinks. Clothing industry, I'm guessing, is still going strong. Adamantine is still being smelted. No more water is coming from up here. I thought we had water from here at some point, but this dude like legit destroyed an entire Z level's worth of water because it won't go anymore. Like it can't. He just slowly destroys it. Like, yeah, it spreads a little bit rarely around him, but because of a natural evaporation, it goes away. It doesn't have a chance to spread in any large bulk because he destroys too much of it. This creates a pulling factor because higher numbers always want to go to lower numbers. So really, for a number to be doing here, it had to have passed so many random checks to end up going this way and not getting sucked into him because his influence is like that big. Like this still pulls to him because that's an empty square. So he has like a really large influence that almost hits all the openings. Like if this was closed, most of that water would be gone. That would have already been back down to here. This would have been emptied if this was closed. And I mean, no shit, if this was closed, there wouldn't be water there, but you can see what I'm talking about. One path way outside his like aura, his radius, barely does that much water off of that radius. That's kind of in his radius. So that's like doing a bit of that, but this is mostly ones. It's not doing much. Like there's a dry bit there. This water is getting lucky because it's sourcing from back here. That's where this water's coming from. It's coming from back here and going that way. There's enough twos feeding through this weird side path to shuffle back and forth to make sure that this stays filled. But it's not enough to reach through to this, to this, to this, to fill this up. So this still evaporates. And it's definitely got spots back here. Now, how one shows up here occasionally, that's just fucking raw luck. Where a 2 ends up there, skips his aura of death diagonally, and then runs away. That's just raw luck is all that is. It's kind of weird that he's standing there as like some weird bastion of like dryness. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Oh, wait, hold on, back down to the adamantine. Can't do below because magma. Going above, probably dangerous. This can safely be done. I want to mine that so I can see what's beyond. What I'm assuming is that's adamantine. If these are both adamantine, I mean, they would have to be, but I want to verify this before I just mine it blindly. Assuming that's both adamantine, these 3 adamantine are mineable. If that is also a stone, the whole thing is mineable. It's really what we're looking on, is whether or not this square right here is adamantine or granite. It's adamantine. So that can be smooth, and that is our hellscape. This we don't know about. This we are still screwing around with. But I can tell you that those are all mineable. If we go down to the bottom, how are we doing for smelting the adamantine? There's no way you're out of adamantine wafers. Try again. The west, the magma forge. How many do we have? We're looking for wafers. 21. Shit, I wasn't paying attention to the math. Recipes is like 9 alone, so we're not gonna have enough right now for 2 full sets. Was it 4? 4. For a second I thought he was mining about shit myself. Up above, this adamantine is revealing itself to be extra fiddly. Now this is posing a problem. While I would love to risk going into this is an opening that has a roof. If the fire guy climbs, I don't think he can, but if he climbs, he could climb into the base that way. But worse than that, we do know the one-eyed penis monster can fly. The one-eyed penis serpent snake thing seems to have the occasional ability to fly. Like, I think I've seen it in the air. though not for long periods of time. So maybe he's just a really good crawler, or not crawler, climber. Either way, he would be able to pathfind into that. So we have to be careful as we dig this that we don't breach any of that. That is a no-no zone. That is a no-no zone of doom, because we don't have a safe way of doing that. But we should be fine regardless. Because, I mean, I suspect the penis monster is just going to sit back here hiding from the other monster. He hasn't moved in forever. I don't know what he's doing. He just really seems to love the idea of sitting here, just letting the water wash past him. It'd be really crappy if he had like just a poisonous slime and the water just spread it throughout the whole area and he just sat there like some weird incubation of doom. I can't believe this dude never got anything on him though. Like, that's annoying. Though I suppose when your entire body is made of fire and you immediately eradicate all water near you, how hot is he being? Like, would he melt an arrow if I shot an arrow at him? Do you think? Like, that's gotta be a terrifying amount of heat. Oh, Mr. Bazooka, are you not aware of our horrible penis monster? Now, admittedly, it doesn't say penis monster. It's up to you to decide if this is a penis.
Eru, a gigantic one-eyed serpent. It has a fat, bulging trunk, and it is slavering. Its sandy taupe scales are large and close set. Beware its deadly spit.
Now, not to, you know, sway you one way or the other, but its deadly spit is white. And when it attacked us, it spawned a bunch of random flesh balls. And it went and it tracked down the mounds of flesh and spit white shit at them until they died. Make of that what you will. I'm 100% serious and not making this up. It is in the archive from last Saturday's stream. That's just the way it went down. Yeah, well, so the weird thing is, under normal conditions, it sits right outside my wall and it hunts down eye monsters. Occasionally, out my base gets weird floating eyes. Like we had floating eyes and floating flesh mounds, and it just spit on all of them until they died. But for some reason, it's terrified of the fire monster. So he just runs around him occasionally, spitting up on small creatures, and then when he's killed them all, he goes back in the water and hides. And he just lets the water push past him in a soothing motion to the weird fucking fiery steam pit. I don't know, he just stares at him all day. Are you in an evil biome? I am not. This is like one of the few times that I'm not in an evil biome. I am in a high savagery biome, in that occasionally we do get giant porcupines and other creatures that we have to fight, including porcupine men. Yes, bipedal sentient creatures that, because they are of a monstrous bent, we eradicate in holy crusades. Men, women, children, you know, even the younglings, we just slaughter them all because they look different than us and we can't afford them to exist. Now you might say, okay, that's just me. Why are you sending out the captain of your guard, Stephen Robert, to go kill these other sentient races? It absolutely has nothing to do with the fact that Stephen Robert is also the holy knight of our temple, called the Violent Coven, who prays to Rash, who is the dwarven deity of valor, death, and suicide. I don't know why the holy knight of the dwarven deity of valor, death, and suicide routinely runs out and kills sentient races that aren't dwarves. I don't understand it. We just think he's crazy. But we did decide to outfit him with a completely adamantine set of armor and an artifact adamantine pick worth 1.26 million dwarf bucks. And we're slowly digging our way to hell. Maybe we'll survive the clowns. It's not going to happen, but we might kill one on the way. Yeah, we're in Untamed Wilds, I think. We had high savagery, that's what I remember. At least part of the base did. I don't know if the full base did. The only way you should have that attitude is towards elves. Oh, they don't come by anymore. I think they came by at some point. Did they? No, they never came by. That was the old base. The old base, we had some issues with the elves. They got angry at us. They said we're cutting down too many trees. Maybe it's dead and just imagining everything. Look, all I know is there is a penis monster that we have to deal with. But I see that it has been a little bit over an hour. So, for those of you who are not watching this live, but who, you know what I need for these? You know what I need for when we go into the YouTube breaks? I need a thing to pop up so that chat can say hi to YouTube. That's what I need for this. So that when I say hi to YouTube, everyone live can say hi to YouTube, and then YouTube can feel bad because they weren't here live. But those of you who are watching this after the fact on the archive channel, we're going to be taking a YouTube break. See you guys next time.